Okay, so I'm going to try and paint some petal shapes or leaf shapes for you here on the paper. Uh, the basic one stroke leaf shape makes a lot of petal shapes as well. So practicing this and getting some muscle memory is very beneficial. And I can't tell you how many pages I've filled up practicing this stroke. Before I start, my brush is dry. I haven't gotten it wet yet. I sprayed my paints right here. Here's my mixing palette, so I'm going to mix colors. This one is right here. That's my clean water. And right here, let me see if I can get a better angle. Right there is my dirty water. This is just glue. Ignore that. Anyway, let me get this. I just wanted you to see how I reach and clean. Oh, and here's my, well, and here's where I'm going to be wiping off. And here's my great big brush rest that I have in my little studio. So let me see if I can get everything in frame, sort of, maybe. All right. So I also misted my mixing palette, so everything's ready to go. First, I'm going to get my brush nice and wet, get all the air bubbles out of there, and I really beat my brush, so you're going to hear that a lot. And I wipe it off on this paper towel. Let me see if I can slide this up just a little bit. Okay, I just want you to see the mechanics of how I go round and round and round. So the first thing, since we're going to do leaves, I'm going to mix up some green. But that's not the only color. I'll put a little bit of perylene green in here. And I'm also going to put in, wipe off the paint, dirty water, rinse and clean water. And I'm going to put in a little bit of this burnt umber in here just to tone the brown down a little bit, make it look like a more of a natural brown. I don't know how the color is going to show up on yours, but okay. The essential stroke. And I'm going to be going diagonally across my paper, which it should be horizontally on your screen. It looks pretty good. So basically, the stroke is you touch the tip down, you press down with the brush, let the bristles get wide, pull back, and stand back up again. Did that make sense? Let me do it again. Touch, push, slide, lift. And it's at that speed. I'm not doing it super slow for you. That's the speed that they're painted. It's not rushed. Touch, slide, lift. And you can go back in and move that paint around a little bit. And if you're want to be really fancy, you can touch a little bit. This is blue. Woo, that just flooded. Okay, here we go. Slurp it up. Touch a little blue in there. It just gives it a bit of a variated color. I'm going to, that's the brush that we use in class, the number 7. I'm going to grab one of my favorite brushes. This is a number 12. This is a Gigantosaurus watercolor brush. It's dry right now, but I think maybe it'll help you to see the stroke. And these great big brushes hold a ton of paint. So if you mix up your paint, you just have to be aware of what brush you're using. Mix up more paint when you use a great big brush like this. But, so let's start right about here. Touch, press, slide, lift. Could you see that a little bit better? I don't know if I can. How do I zoom in? I don't know. The other thing about a big brush is you can pick up like 3 different colors of paint by putting on the different sides of your brush. Like putting green on this side, flipping it over, putting this brown on that side, coming back here and mixing it up, and you don't contaminate your colors as well. If you do contaminate your colors, no big deal. Let me do another leaf or petal shape. Touch, press, slide, and lift. I'm going to blot some of that off. Slurp, slurp. Like I said, these big brushes hold a lot of water. And then I'm going to take a little bit of magenta, or I think it's actually called Permanent Rose, I believe. And I had some green on my brush, so that made a brown. Just tap it in there. You can, here's a shadow on the bottom of the leaf. And when it dries, you'll be able to see it a lot better. But let me make up a flower color. Here's that. Is it Permanent Rose or Quinacridone Rose? I can't remember what's in that palette. And because I'm never satisfied with the colors, I'm just mixing up some of that burnt umber in there just to tone it down a little bit so it's not such a bright pink. But touch, press, slide, stand up. Touch, press, slide, stand up. You can only get 2 or 3 petals at a time. Touch, press, slide, stand up. And you see how this paint is running over into all these other colors. There's nothing wrong with having a second paintbrush in your hand and slurping it up. So I'm only using my right hand right now because my left hand is on the other side of my tablet because I don't have room. Touch, slide, stand up. And maybe a couple foreshortened petals because it's tipped. It's at an angle. Oh, can I get one more? And I'm going to slurp up some of this. Ooh, that is a very thirsty brush. I'm going to put a center in here. I'll just use some of this green. When you mix it with that red, it's going to look brown, but just so that you can see why I made those short little petals, because it makes the flower tipped a little bit. And maybe a little teeny bit of black. Anyway, what I would do is wait for this to dry, come back in with some more of my red, and maybe a little bit darker mix of it, or maybe a slightly different color, like maybe add a little bit of blue to it to make it slightly purple. Then I'd go over the top and I'd layer some more petals over the top of that. So I hope that's not clear as mud. I hope that that helped you with the actual brush stroke to make that, whether it's a leaf shape or a petal shape, and that's the sharp pointed one. It's a different stroke if you want to make a round base, but that will come when we do the 5-dot flowers, which is not next time, but the time after that. So I hope this helped. Thanks, guys. Bye.